friends, this is Pastor Jamie with Tempe First United Methodist Church. The United Methodist Church has a process whereby which one becomes a pastor. I'm currently a provisional elder or provisional pastor, but I'm working on the requirements for full ordination. And as it comes to your mind, I would covet your prayers in this process. One of the requirements for candidates for ministry is to write a series of short papers on different topics. And the paper I was working on last night was on my understanding of God. So friends, I want to look together at who God is today. And I must start by recognizing there are many, many different ways that we can describe God. And there are hundreds or thousands of books written on the nature and character of God. However, I realize that I can only share a few of my thoughts with you today. When I first began pastoring, I thought it was my job to have all of the right answers. And if I didn't have all of the right answers, I thought it was my job to go and find them. And not only was it my job to have all of the answers, but it was my job to have all of the right Methodist answers. However, it's been my experience that when we're having a rough time, we're not particularly interested in what a theology book says about God. We do not necessarily want answers to our God questions. Not all questions can or should be answered. Rather, I think that we want someone who can sit with us as we wade through our questions. And I think at times spiritual fruit comes not from seeking and finding answers, but comes from sitting with our questions. And so I think God is not bothered by our questions, and think that God even welcomes our questions. God welcomes us struggling with who He is because it deepens our faith. My second thought regarding God is that I've had to give up some of my expectations regarding how the world operates and regarding the role that God plays in the world. From my human point of view, I have expectations of how and when God should intervene in the world. And I wish that I could tell you all that God will eliminate all of your pain and suffering and all of the pain and suffering in the world. Yet things don't always turn out the way I think they should. God does not always act in the ways that I expect Him to. However, what I've realized is that my perception of God is limited. There's much about God and the world that I do not understand. And I realize that my finite mind will never fully grasp an infinite God. And even though there is some level of mystery in my understanding of God, I can still have faith that God's essential character is love. And the final thought I want to share with you today comes from Brian Grogan's book called Finding God in All Things. Brian suggests that another name for God is presence. And when Moses asked God to identify Himself, God responded, "I am who I am." And Grogan suggests this means, I am present, or I will really be there for you. And this assurance of God's presence allows us to keep going even during difficult times, or maybe especially during difficult times. And we know that we can keep journeying through life because we do not journey alone. So friends, I would also encourage you to take a moment to reflect on how your life experiences have shaped your views of God. And as I end our time together today, let me give you this blessing. Friends, may God, the Creator, Sustainer, and Redeemer, shed His light on you today and every day. Amen.